You know, every single day we flip a switch, we turn on a tap, and everything just works, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what's going on behind the scenes? There's this massive, totally invisible network of pipes and wires and transformers, all of it working 24/7. I mean, this stuff is literally the lifeblood of our cities. And now there's this incredible new technology that's creating a perfect virtual copy of all of it. A copy that's going to make our world smarter, stronger, and way more resilient than we could have ever imagined.
Okay, so to really get why this tech is such a massive game changer, we've got to first talk about the problem. We need to understand the huge and frankly growing pressure on these systems that we all rely on every single day.
So, let me ask you this. What actually keeps your lights on? What makes the water run when you turn on the faucet? It's so easy to just not think about it, right? To take it for granted. But the truth is, these systems are facing what's basically a perfect storm of threats. And yeah, that could absolutely impact all of us.
All right, let's break it down. First off, a lot of this infrastructure is just old. It's aging, it's wearing out. Simple as that. Then you've got our cities, which are just exploding in population, putting way more demand on systems that are already stretched thin. And, as if that wasn't enough, you throw climate change into the mix. We're talking more extreme weather, more often, that can just completely knock these fragile networks out.
So what do? I mean, how on earth do you manage a system that's massive, super complex, and getting old, all in the 21st century? Well, the answer is pretty wild. You build a perfect, living, digital copy of it. You build what's called a digital twin.
Now, let's be super clear about this. A digital twin, it's not just some fancy 3D model or a digital blueprint. That's old news. The huge difference here, the absolute key, is that this thing is a living virtual replica. It's mirroring its physical twin in real time, reflecting its exact condition right now, this very second. And this right here, this shows you the real magic. It's this constant two-way street of information. You've got sensors on the actual physical thing, let's say a water pump, feeding live data into its virtual twin. Then, the twin analyzes all that data and can send feedback or even commands right back to the real pump. It's like they're in a constant conversation with each other.
And this is a really important point because a lot of people get this confused. Think about it. A regular simulation, that's static. You run a what-if scenario and then it's over. A digital shadow is a step up. It's listening to the real world, but it can't talk back. It's a one-way street. But a true digital twin, that's the whole shebang. It's a completely synchronized loop. It's listening and talking all the time, which makes it a truly interactive, living system.
All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds a bit like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But believe me, this is happening right now. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually making this real-time connection work.
So it's not like there was one big invention that made this possible. It's actually a powerful mix, a convergence of four key technologies. You can think of them as the four pillars that hold the whole thing up. When they all work together, they create the backbone for any digital twin.
Okay, so here's the tech stack. First, you have IoT sensors. These are basically the eyes and ears of the system, out there in the real world, collecting constant streams of data on everything you can imagine. Pressure, temperature, voltage, you name it. All that data then gets fed into the brain of the operation, AI and machine learning. The AI is brilliant at spotting tiny, subtle patterns that a human would never catch, like a very specific dip in voltage that means a transformer is about to fail. Now, to process all this information, you need some serious horsepower, and that comes from cloud and edge computing. And finally, you need all these different parts to talk to each other, right? That's where big data protocols come in. They're like the universal translator, making sure everything communicates seamlessly.
All right, so that's the tech, that's the how. But what does this actually do? Let's talk about the real-world impact, the tangible, game-changing results this is having on the power and water we use every single day. Okay, look at this number, 45%. Let that sink in. A 45% reduction in system downtime. So what does that actually mean? It means the system can predict when a part is about to fail, and crews can go fix it before it actually breaks. Problems get solved before they even become problems. For you and me, that means fewer power outages, fewer water main breaks, just a way more reliable system all around. And of course, being proactive like this has a massive impact on the bottom line. It's always cheaper to fix something before it catastrophically fails, right? You avoid all those crazy expensive emergency repairs. Instead, utilities can just schedule planned, efficient maintenance, and that can save them up to 30% in costs. That's huge. And what's so cool is how versatile this technology is. It's not a one-trick pony. For the electricity grid, it's being used to optimize how power flows and predict where faults might happen. But then you can take the exact same core idea and apply it to the water sector. There, it's used to run simulations to find tiny, hard-to-detect leaks in huge pipeline networks, or even to predict how a big storm might affect the drainage systems.
Look, this isn't just a bunch of theory or stuff that might happen in the future. This is real. And to prove it, let's head over to Bangladesh and look at one of the most ambitious projects out there right now. We're going to see how 3 very different utility companies are using this exact technology to solve their own unique problems.
And just take a look at this. This image really gives you a sense of the incredible scale we're talking about here. What you're seeing is the digital twin for the BREB, that's the Bangladesh Rural Electrification Board, and it happens to be the largest rural power network on the entire planet. We're talking 600,000 kilometers of power lines. It's just staggering.
And what's so fascinating here is how the same technology is adapted for totally different problems. You see here, for DPDC, which is in a super dense city, the main job for their digital twin is preventing power overloads and outages. Then there's Nesco. In a more mixed urban and rural area, for them, it's all about finding faults faster and figuring out how to best integrate renewable energy. And then you have the giant, the rural BREB grid that we just saw, serving 34 million people. For them, the challenge is just asset management, keeping track of everything over a vast area. So you see, 3 different grids, 3 unique challenges, all being tackled by one core technology.
So yeah, the potential here is obviously enormous. It's hard to overstate it. But let's be realistic. Creating a perfect digital copy of our world's most critical infrastructure, well, that comes with its own set of pretty serious challenges.
And these hurdles are no joke. First and foremost, cybersecurity. If your power grid is digital, it's suddenly a target for hackers, so it'd have to be rock-solid secure. Second, all the different systems, the old stuff and the new stuff, they all have to be able to talk to each other. That's a huge technical challenge. Then, of course, there's the money. The upfront cost to build this stuff is high. And finally, you have the regulators and policymakers trying to keep up with a technology that's just moving at lightning speed. But here's the thing. Overcoming those challenges is absolutely worth it. And this quote really hits the nail on the head. It's all about a fundamental shift in how we do things. We're moving away from a reactive model, waiting for something to break and then scrabbling to fix it. Instead, we're moving to a proactive, predictive model. It's all about solving problems before they even happen.
Make no mistake, this revolution is already happening. We are right now building a living, breathing digital copy of the physical world that we all depend on. So the question isn't if this is going to happen anymore. It's happening. The real question is, how are we going to manage it? Our physical world is getting a digital copy. Are we ready for that?